Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today we've got a new special episode, bit of a different format. We're going to go over some world news as we used to, and there's plenty of things that have changed around the world the last few years. Welcome to the channel, Tom, who's one of our OG members from our group. He's been doing a lot of research, part of our new Alpha research team, some great posts lately as well. So thanks for coming on, Tom.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Where do you want to start? There's so much happening around the world. A lot's changed the last few years. Plenty to get through today. And guys, we're going to get through a lot of tabs, but we're open to any feedback if you want it to be even longer form content or us to have more discussion or other topics you want us to cover in future. So this is really a bit of a trial run to discuss some, I guess, sensitive topics, divisive topics. And I think one of the problems with the world today is that people can't tend to disagree or share differing views and really have these honest conversations. So that's what we're going to try to do today.
I totally agree with you there, Nugs. There's so much information out there now, and it just seems like every day it's really hard to pick and choose on what you really want to believe in. There's a lot of narratives going on, a lot of different stuff. So I've just put together a few slides of some of the best stuff I've found over the past month that I share around
Yeah.
that I thought would be beneficial to members. So if I get my screen on share now, I can start running through the little bullet points I've got.
Fantastic. And I think we're going to start with some crypto stuff, guys, and get into some politics. There's been the UFO congressional hearing, which is something I've been interested in for 20 years now. So, yeah, that'd be great, Tom, if you want to get some of those tabs up and we'll start making our way through everything.
No worries. All right, let's get the first one up here. Just make sure this share goes through okay. So the first thing I had was Coinbase ordered by the SEC to halt trading on all crypto assets except Bitcoin prior to being sued. Now, I had to read through this report. Pretty much Coinbase have pushed back on this, saying that this would destroy their US industry of anyone who held altcoins, which I believe in as well. So it's good to see Coinbase pushing back on this and taking it to court as the US do propose harder restrictions. I'm hoping that this does all go through and altcoins aren't declared as securities. I mean, some out there maybe, but yeah, with the overall market, I'm sort of hoping that this comes out to be a good thing for the US and not a bad thing, where innovation is just going to keep leaving the US.
Yeah, so I think it's something like, was it 2/3 of their trading volume are altcoins? The other interesting thing is they had to go through that strict process to become a listed company, which they did, and none of this was brought up when they became a listed company, whatever, a year or two ago. And it's only now that they're saying, oh, everything's a security apart from Bitcoin. So it's really just the SEC flip-flopping and not giving clear guidance, as always. And as you said, if something like this was to actually get through in the US, I think you'd see, Binance, BNB coin maybe go up because the trading volume's just going to go there. If people can still buy Bitcoin and then send it to another exchange to swap to their altcoins, swap it to ETH and still go in the DeFi ecosystem, it's all only a click away, a MetaMask away or whatever. So it's kind of pointless even trying to make those rules.
Exactly. And especially with the use of VPNs, Tor browser, like they're going to find ways around it. But it brings me to the next slide here with this new base blockchain that Coinbase has set up. It makes me think, are Coinbase, if this goes through, going to move to this new blockchain and potentially have their altcoins on this chain? We can see as they launched just a few days ago, 200 million thanks to Memecoin degens, which we know has been the rage lately. But if you're on the ball with this stuff, and I did this personally, as soon as this came out, I quickly bridged to this chain, bought a few of these degen coins. I actually did get rugged on both of them. I only put $100 into both of them, but I did get rugged. But there is potential to make big money on these new blockchains and meme coins that pop up. But they're saying that they're thinking they're going to launch this mainnet on the 8th of August, I think it was. So you can already see there's a lot of interest in it. Do you think that this is something that they may be doing move away from their centralized exchange, or do you think this is just another block?
I still think even their layer two, so Base is, we were talking about this yesterday, built on Optimism's technology, and I think you're going to see it being able to bridge. At the moment, I think it's just ETH, and I believe there's even a way to actually withdraw that just takes a week or so. It's a bit technical. But yeah, I think you're going to see eventually this bridge to like Optimism and all these other layer two change, but possibly be pretty strict or centralized in terms of Coinbase's control and KYC and that type of thing. But it definitely fits in that narrative we've seen that it's all going to be about layer twos and reduced transaction fees, which is going to allow for more speculation, that kind of thing. Remember when we have these altcoin euphorias and all of a sudden it costs $100 to swap on Uniswap or $300 to mint an NFT? It's going to allow for cheaper speculation as we get into the next bull market with all these layer twos.
Yeah. No, totally agree with you there. Yeah, I was just, I wasn't sure if they were trying to create this to maybe move away from that lawsuit, but
possibly, as you said, a bit like BNB or Binance Smart Chain or whatever, you know what I mean, kind of saying, well, it's kind of decentralized, it's kind of not us, to just put a little bit more at arm's distance and confuse regulators. But also agree that, as you said, you got rugged on two of them, so I appreciate the honesty. But they are the ones, if you get in super early in the first day or two, that's where you might eventually hit that one that goes 100 or 1,000x as well. So you got to be aware of those risk first rewards.
Definitely. All right, I'll move on to the next one here. So we got Peter Schiff coming out again, saying that get out of the dollar. The USD is being destroyed. We all know he's a gold bug. He's against Bitcoin. I did see his son come out with a thing last week saying that he was out of Bitcoin, but now apparently he's fully back in it. So I don't know if there's a bit of a organised thing going on between them two, but pretty much what Peter Schiff's saying is the dollar's being destroyed. They keep inflating it, which is passing the inflation off to the public. He thinks it's getting worse and worse. And if you can, get out of the dollar and get into something like gold is what he's pushing. But I'd also consider Bitcoin, silver, anything to be out of the US dollar. I can't see the US dollar failing. But it's always good to have your money in a few different baskets. You know what I mean? I personally keep most of my money in US dollars and not Aussie dollars. But I also keep a lot in Bitcoin as well. So, what are your thoughts on Schiff there?
Yeah, I mean, he's been someone that I've probably followed for 15 years or so now, and a lot of these guys have been saying the same thing. The US dollar is going to die and go to zero. They've been saying it for years, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be a slow bleed, and maybe it is getting worse or whatever, but inflation's worse in Europe, like the debt situation of countries in the Eurozone, inflation in these other developing countries, that's 100%. So it's all relative. And so, no matter how bad it gets, it's just a question of, well, how much do those alternate assets go up? Are people going to flee into real things, even property or possibly stocks? Like I still think we can have a melt-up bubble just because all fiat currencies are inflating and printing more and more. It doesn't mean that the US dollar is going to zero. It's all relative and compared to anything that's tangible or finite.
Totally agree with that. So I'll move on here. Bitcoin adoption has soared as non-zero wallet addresses hit the new record high the other day. So this is another great thing for Bitcoin. It means more and more people are jumping on board. I think this is a great thing for Bitcoin. If you can see this here, the numbers now reached 47,857,099 on the Glassnode metrics. I think you boys talked about this in the update you did just the other day as well.
Yeah, I think we touched on this, and it's always good to see. I think we are into the bull market, but it's always good in these early stages where people are unsure and no one's overly bullish yet. But to see these metrics, the same with Ethereum transactions and layer 2 transactions, like they're all growing and very, very healthy. So it's all pointing towards the bull market coming soon, I think.
Yeah, me too. And I've actually been buying all of these Bitcoin dips lately because we're hovering around a nice level at the moment, especially with all the bad stuff that's come in about Bitcoin lately. And then we've got all this good stuff with the ETFs coming. I think everyone's bought in, and this is going to be the new level that's going to hold. So I'm liking the price here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The next one I had here is, amid all of these sanctions, Bitcoin mining machines are flowing into Russia. So Russia's pretty open to this stuff. They have very low energy costs. They don't have tax for Bitcoin miners. And as the US keep pushing this further, I can just see more and more of these guys moving out of the US, going to these countries that are sanctioned, or to Asia, or to other countries. But sort of what they're saying in this article that I read through is, even if these guys are in Russia producing Bitcoin, there is no way that they'll ever, because Russia is sanctioned, there's going to be no way to bring this money back to the US, which I think is going to make it worse for the US if they keep pushing this hard stance on all of this crypto mining and Bitcoin, altcoins, DeFi, and the rest of it. I can just see the innovation just leaving the US, and these third world countries maybe rising to a higher power as this stuff evolves.
Yeah, one of our big themes for this next cycle is the move from west to east in these other countries. And just as Russia bypassed oil sanctions by going into countries that are more friendly with them, and then through another port, and then it ends up making its way to Europe anyway, or whatever. That's a lot easier to do in the digital world, moving a Bitcoin to one wallet than another wallet, another country, or whatever. So it'll still going to flow no matter what they do. But yeah, I definitely think that we're going to see China and Russia continue to cozy up to crypto.
Yeah, and I've got some slides coming on that. I can't remember how much further on they are, but they are coming. So another good thing that I found this week is Bitcoin is no longer the asset choice for criminals. The whole time I've invested in Bitcoin, my family and my friends have pushed back at me ever since the start, when I started in 2017, saying you're investing in criminals, you're supporting child trafficking, various other things that they've come up, when I've always backed myself and Bitcoin on this, saying that, most of these transactions happen in US dollars or cash or Aussie dollars. So they're actually saying now that most of these are happening through USDC on centralized exchanges. Decentralized exchanges, sorry.
Yeah.
So technically they're still using the US dollar. The USDC is backed by the US dollar. So yeah, they're always finding a way, and Bitcoin's not it. We all know that Bitcoin's recorded. It's all on the ledger. I mean, you can use mixing services and stuff, but obviously these guys aren't too worried about it, and they're just using USDC coin through these DeFi platforms and laundering the money easily. So it's another good thing for Bitcoin, I think, if we can get away from that only used for criminals narrative. And because I know this is why my parents and extended family won't buy into Bitcoin, because they think it's for criminals. So
yeah,
it's another little win for Bitcoin, I think.
Yeah, we've seen criminals get caught in the past because of that on-chain transparency and the software that's so smart these days that can track what people are doing. So yeah, it's definitely privacy coins or other things that have become the choice if you're going to use crypto. But as you say, it just dwarfs in proportion to the amount of stuff that's still going on just through traditional banks and whatnot.
Exactly. And I'll move on to this next one. So the dark side of crypto, 32 million traced to fentanyl trade, and this was all through centralized crypto exchanges. So the previous one, they're saying it's all through decentralized crypto exchanges, whereas Elliptic here is saying that they have a troubling connection between centralized crypto exchanges as well with this fentanyl trade. So they say it's all decentralized, but really these guys are playing it all out on the centralized exchanges and getting away with it. So I still think that, this narrative they push on DeFi is fake. And yeah, it's all happening in the wide-eyed view. So
yeah, on these, as you say, centralized ones that should be KYC'd and whatnot. So interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I'll move on to this next one here. So they want to bring in this new law for US citizens. Again, trying to dull down the crypto in the US, saying that any payments over $10,000, you're pretty much going to have to verify where that came from, not only for yourself, but the sender as well. So if you've tried to spend your whole life and tried to keep sort of a private crypto strategy, as soon as you send this $10,000 to anyone in the US, they've pretty much got open reign to go through all of your transactions and pretty much cancel out any privacy you thought you had. I know the banks in Australia have done this with the $10,000, but it seems like they want to push this narrative through crypto now as well. And yeah, it's going to make it harder for them when they're trying to deal with other countries who are just trying to send money around. And $10,000 isn't a lot of money in crypto. Like that sort of money is getting sent daily, thousands of transactions. I just can't see how they're going to keep track of all of this.
Yeah, again, sometimes the technology doesn't keep up with what they want to bring into law or whatnot. So interesting to see how that one plays out. But as you said, yeah, it's kind of been something that's been noteworthy in Australia for a while anyway, even with Aussie dollar transactions and whatever getting flagged to and from bank accounts or crypto exchanges or whatnot.
Yeah, so they're proposing that in January, so we'll see how that one plays out. You noted on this yesterday in the group as well, but I just wanted to show, so Bendigo Bank, one that I supported, who I thought was fairly legit. Now they're blocking high-risk crypto payments to crypto exchanges to protect customers. And I actually gave them a call yesterday and asked them what they class as a high-risk payment, and they couldn't give me an answer. So they just said, we'll deem it as we see appropriate.
Pretty much all the banks now, it's almost like it's the too hard basket for them because there are some scams and whatnot but I'd be interested to see if someone actually pushes back against this and sort of says, well, hold on, like it's everyday Aussies money, they should be able to do what they want with it. If you're just sending it to and from a crypto exchange or withdrawing profits, like how can you just say, no, we're not going to allow this industry at all? Like, it's pretty crazy. But and it's funny that they can't give you an answer, even if you want to stick by the rules kind of thing.
Yeah, it's concerning that you can't just transfer your own money around freely. I think it's all personal responsibility. If you want to transfer money into a not dodgy, I'd say, but into a startup where you know the risks, these crypto startups, some of them go well, some of them go to zero in a day. I think that should be your own personal choice and not the choice of a bank who holds your money, that you pay to hold your money. So, it's a bit of another hit on the Australian banking. Do you know of any solid banks in Australia, or is this just the big banks rolling this out?
No, I haven't actually, and it'll be an interesting question to maybe poll on Twitter or ask the community which banks they're preferring these days. But I almost feel like it might become favourable, particularly for higher amounts, to start to go through brokers. So you're going through another business that might have well-established partnerships with specific banks and that kind of thing, rather than just going straight from bank to a crypto exchange. Yeah.
It's a good one for that, aren't they, that we've spoken about in the past.
Who was that, sorry, mate?
Ainsley Bullion.
Ainsley Bullion, yeah. Yeah, Caleb and Brown are probably two that we've been closest with in the past, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So following on from that, we can see the US Senate bill wants to regulate DeFi like a bank. So what they want to do here, reading through this article, is pretty much have a KYC on all DeFi protocols. So I have no idea how they're going to work this. Like some of these protocols, if you're a productive DeFi farmer, some of these protocols pop up and disappear within a month. And I just can't see anybody wanting to put their KYC into, especially these anonymous protocols that jump up with these massive returns. And there's no way that I'll be putting my KYC into all of these different platforms and just to do a bit of yield farming or provide some liquidity or stake my favorite token on a new project that's come up. So yeah, it's just another thing that's pushing this innovation away from the US. So I thought I'd just
Yeah, it probably
touch on
gets
that.
into that realm of digital identity, which we'll probably go into a little bit deeper in some of these other slides.
Yeah, so we'll keep moving along here. I'll just do this bit quickly. So yeah, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio, he's come out saying Web3 is part of the new form of capitalism. So you can see these guys all jumping on board. They can see the opportunity here. So yeah, we'll stop with that now and we'll move on. I thought this one here would be good for the members. There's a new crypto phishing attack involving 2FA on Apple devices that's just been noticed. I'm a strong Apple man. Everything I have is Apple as well. What they're saying in this article is it's all through iCloud. So I haven't used iCloud for a long time. I don't use it for anything. I've got it shut off on all of my devices. But potentially what they're saying here is if you've got your keys stored in iCloud, any of your 2FA stuff, pretty much there's an attack going on at the moment. So you need to be really careful with where you're storing your actual seed phrases and your passwords and stuff. I'd recommend to get it all offline. I keep mine all offline. I'm not sure how you control your privacy with the crypto, but this is something to definitely be worried about if this has already been infiltrated. So just wanted to put that up for the members just in case anyone's storing their seed phrases in iCloud or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hardware wallets and offline's always been the best way. And there's just, if there's anything that's online anywhere, people get their emails hacked or these clouds or storing things in Word documents, even on their own computer. Like it's just asking for disaster as the hackers get smarter and smarter.
That's right. Yeah, I had a friend who had all of his seed phrases in notes on his computer, and his computer got infiltrated somehow, and he lost a lot of crypto. So yeah, it's something to be aware of. But that brings me on to this next one: how crypto investors are being targeted in home robberies in Canada. So basically, these guys are finding these people with the high net worth crypto, breaking into their houses. They may already have their seed phrases from this iCloud thing and pretty much holding these people up and taking their hardware wallets or telling them to log into their computers and transfer all their crypto over. So it's just another thing to be aware of that I thought I'd just bring up in this chat. Yeah, there's been some more wild predictions coming out. Standard Chartered, pretty big bank, over there saying that we could surge to 300%, 120 within the next year. They're saying this miners are in profit at the moment, so they're selling less Bitcoin. So this is another good thing for the Bitcoin network. So yeah, let's hope they keep holding their Bitcoin, these miners, and yeah, we can see one of these big bursts coming up in the next year.
Yeah, definitely. I think that an early super cycle is on the table, which we've spoken about in recent updates as well.
Yeah. I'll just keep moving along here. And we've had Tim Draper, support, famous billionaire, coming in saying he thinks the dollar's dead. Bitcoin's a new innovation. So yeah, he's coming out as an advocate too, and I'm sure he has something to do with a few of these spot ETFs that are on the way. So I thought I'd just bring these up just to keep everyone informed on when they think the evaluation dates are going to be. So they're all looking around January 2024, March again. So that's the times we want to look out for these ETFs to be approved. So I thought I'd just throw that in there.
Yeah, and I think we've seen the Ethereum ETF proposal today as well. I read on Twitter, and then, like I said, it'll follow with top 10 altcoins, and the floodgates will open as soon as we get that first Bitcoin spot ETF.
Yeah, we're all waiting for it. So let's hope it goes through this time. Another good one I found is Coinbase stock has now outperformed Bitcoin over the past year. So that's good. It's still down, coin from its all-time high. I think it's still down 70%, but it has actually outperformed Bitcoin this year. And there was a fair few other crypto stocks that were doing well. I can't recall them all off the top of my head, but pretty much here they are here, yeah. So we've got a few crypto stocks, first crypto, and they're all looking pretty good over the year. So
that to me is a sign. that smart money thinks crypto's bottomed, and they go, well, Coinbase and Riot mining crypto stocks, things that are really beat up, that are going to give them that outperformance or that alpha. So positive signs from the smart money.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. It's really good to see. This is just a small one I wanted to throw up. You can now earn Bitcoin walking around major cities. So this S-Mile app is launched in 2020. They're finally up and running. Basically what happens is advertisers buy Bitcoin on this app, and you can pretty much walk around like Pokemon Go and find Satoshis in the cities. So I think it's only in the US at the moment, but they're looking to expand worldwide. So if you want to keep your fitness up and gain a bit of Bitcoin and flick a few Pokeballs around to get some Satoshis, I think this is a cool little project. So
interesting. If any of our viewers are in the US, let us know if you've tried that one.
Yeah, pretty cool little thing. So yeah, they reckon it's sort of like Pokemon Go. You throw a ball at the Satoshis and capture them all. So
awesome.
I thought that was cool to throw in there. And then, the Ethereum monthly burn has now surpassed 146,000 ETH, which is, going into what they've been saying, that it's going to become a deflationary token. So this is great for ETH. And I think it was still 11% of the supply is locked, which is also great. So as there's 11% locked up in the supply, we're also getting the deflationary token effect. So I still see ETH as a great investment. I know you're a big advocate for ETH as well.
Yeah, and I probably still see it outperforming Bitcoin and even leading the cycle this time around again.
Yeah. So yeah, throw that one in there as well. OpenSea's got their new deals, peer-to-peer NFT swaps. I don't know if you've seen this one. That just started last week. So basically now you won't have to pay gas fees to pretty much list and sell all of your NFTs. So what they're doing is you'll pretty much be able to do a peer-to-peer swap. Say you've got an NFT that's worth 1 ETH, your friend has one that's worth 2 ETH. You can make a trade peer-to-peer without any developer fees or OpenSea fees, and you can use wrapped ETH to sweeten the deal. So this is awesome for NFTs, I think.
Definitely, maybe a good feature with we spoke about Blur as well in some of our research posts. Really stiff competition for OpenSea, so maybe they're looking to get some of that market share back.
I think they are. Yeah, they do mention Blur in this article, so I thought I'd just let everyone know that in case they're not up to date with the latest from OpenSea. I think I just deleted a slide there, but pretty much the one before this was that Elon Musk is looking to take Twitter to a global financial sort of banking system. He announced that last week, and Dogecoin overtook Cardano. So I still think Doge is a great investment. If he goes through with all of the stuff he's saying, I can't see Doge not being the cryptocurrency of choice for Twitter. And I think there's going to be a fair bit of upside on it. So what are your thoughts on Doge, mate?
Yeah, I think it maybe even falls into this category of like regulatory certainty, older proof of work coins that we saw some of those newer bank-backed US crypto exchanges say, hey, we're only going to list Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. And Dogecoin almost falls in that category as well. Maybe something like Decred, or just coins that have been around for a really long time, didn't do sort of, the ICOs. They've just been fairly dispersed through proof of work mining and that type of thing. So when you've got that as a tailwind, as well as Elon Musk, who's the most followed person on Twitter or one of, even if he integrates crypto into Twitter, it's maybe not just exclusively Dogecoin. Maybe even Twitter has its own token or something. But I still think you'd probably go, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Doge, or Litecoin, something like that. So I think it's bullish, but it's just a question of how bullish is it going to be for Dogecoin? Yeah.
I did notice he's added the D to his profile on Twitter, so the little D for Dogecoin. So that's nice. A good thing. But I did also notice that James, the beloved meme dog, has actually been diagnosed with cancer. So it's a little bit of sadness from the Dogecoin community. It looks like he might not make it. So Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
sort of just
It's sad. A lot of people, I'm not sure if everyone knows that Dogecoin was created by an Aussie as well, way back in the day. I can't remember if it was 2013 or 2014, but yeah, he's no
yeah,
longer involved, walked away from the project, probably got bigger than he ever imagined.
yeah, yeah. That's sad for all the James anyway. But yeah, the Memecoin economy still grows. 759 million this month. So these memes are still the hottest thing. I jumped in on Peppy, made some pretty awesome gains on that. Also jumped in on another one called Moncoin, which is down fairly bad at the moment, but we did make some good gains. So yeah, if you're on the ball with these meme coins, there's definitely some money to be made. I wouldn't hold them as long-term investments, except for maybe Peppy. But yeah, there's definitely opportunity there when these things pop up. So
Yeah, I think is Mong buy some Aussies as well.
Long's by some Aussies, yeah. So I've actually got a bit of connection with the team. Got some good friends who sit on the board, the NFT board, as so they call it. They actually have an NFT gallery just down the road from me. So they're a great project. They're constantly building. They're trying to build a like a meme coin launch platform. So we'll see how they go with it. But their NFTs are cool. They've still got a pretty good floor price, the NFTs, but the coin is down quite bad at the moment. But they've got BitLord on side. He's one of the main influencers. So yeah, I'm sure in the bull market this thing's going to rise again with him on board. And
Yeah, meme coins and BitLord both very entertaining on Twitter. If you guys haven't given him a follow, but yeah, obviously very high risk stuff. So I'd probably leave that to the experienced crypto investors among you before you go diving into meme coins.
definitely, mate, definitely. Moving along here. Yeah, so McDonald's is now getting into the metaverse as well. So they're using Sandbox for their new McNuggets land, which is launched. So I just thought it was cool to see these big corporations jumping in, and it's just better for the industry, you know. And I've always liked sand, so it's pretty cool to see that they chose Sandbox for it. And yeah, if you want to head over and trade some nuggets and learn about McDonald's, which I don't, some people might want to be interested in it. Yeah, they've launched in the metaverse. So
Yeah, I think Sandbox
cool.
is another one with strong Aussie connections, or at least some of the team Australian. And we've started to see a lot of these ones, like Polygon is another good example, where they've got a lot of corporate partnerships and stuff, and now they're starting to really release working products, and they've got good financial backing. And yeah, obviously Sand's one that I own in my portfolio for the next cycle as well.
Yeah, me too, mate. Me too. Yeah. So let's hope we see some more projects launching on Sand. This is one of my favourite tokens that I've held for a long time. I stake it on Optimism, so I thought I'd just let everyone know that Synthetix is announcing their own exchange. So they want to compete with the centralised exchanges. They've always done good stuff, Synthetix. I know you like them as well. They're a solid project, constant updates. Pretty much what they're building is pretty much just a decentralized platform called Infinex. They pretty much all they want you to do is sign up with a username, password, and email. That's it, no KYC. And I think they were even saying that there was no slippage on the protocol. So once this is up and running, which they're saying fourth quarter, yeah, I think this is going to be big for SNX, and I think they're going to be another big leader into the next bull run too. So definitely something to keep on the radar.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably one of the best performing ones we covered really early in 2019 until now. But I think there was even talk about if they're going to have a new token for this, but preferably just have SNX as the governance token for this as well, which would be another big boost for it if that's the way they do go.
Definitely. So yeah, one to keep on the radar. And I've seen that they've integrated the CCIP from Chainlink that I saw you post in the group yesterday as well. So I think they're one of the first platforms to integrate it. So yeah, that's just another good thing for SNX.
Yeah, research we put out on Chainlink recently, and obviously one that's a real favourite and got a bit of a cult-like following. That's probably going to do pretty well as more protocols are integrating with Chainlink these days.
Yeah, definitely. Righto. Yeah, so we'll move on to this WorldCoin thing. This is a project that I do not like at all. This just reeks of this World Economic Forum, totalitarian, get your retina scanned, we'll own it all, you'll own nothing. Pretty much what these guys want. I've read through this white paper, and every time these guys, we'll talk about Sam Altman first. So he's the one who created ChatGPT. Pretty much in this white paper, he's saying that this world coin is going to battle AI. So he created an AI, and now he's created a coin to battle his own AI, is from what I read it. And they're always using these words: globally inclusive identity, global financial network. It's all, to me, it stems to this one world government, this fourth revolutionary industrial thing that they're trying to create. UBI, which is pretty much how this project is promoting itself. I just see a lot of flaws in it. I mean, are you going to go down to your local orb and get your retina scan nugs, or what are you thinking on this world?
No, I mean, the only thing that I did read to play devil's advocate is that it's trying to use, I think, zero knowledge technology. So it's trying to hide your identity so you can confirm your identity, but somehow being hidden. But geez, I don't know if I'd trust these projects like this. What is it? Is it $70 worth of their token they're giving, which is a lot of money to people in developing nations? So yeah, it is really concerning. What was the movie I watched the other day with Tom Cruise, and they're trying to, all the retina scanners and prevent crime before it happens, and all this dystopian world is just unfolding right before our eyes. So I think we have to be extremely cautious and ask really hard questions of anything like this, for sure. But it's certainly one that's got a lot of people talking, and a lot of people maybe don't care for all this privacy stuff, and it's, hey, $70 for them, and they scan their retina, and now whoever has that information forever.
Yeah, well, I think this is all leading to this World Economic Forum vision that they keep talking about. I'll just go through these couple of little slides and move on to it. But you've got the New York Post coming out saying this creepy WorldCoin crypto project has people lining up despite privacy concerns. So there's concerns there. One of the things that concerns me is the biggest rollout of this has been in Mexico City, where we all know they have one of the highest populated cities in the world. I mean, how many people in Mexico City are on the internet using DeFi, and worried about AI? These guys are more signing up for the free money. And I don't think they understand what they're giving away. Apparently this has been running for 2 years before this coin launched. I've had a good read into it. And I think they've got 2 million people's retina scans so far. But it just seems like they're pushing this in the countries of people who are vulnerable, who need the money, and don't really understand what they're signing up to. I'll just move on to this next one. So yeah, the Mexicans having their irises scanned by WorldCoin. I think it's been the most where the most people have signed up for it. Obviously, people here are extremely poor. So yeah, $75 to them is going to be a lot of money. And they're giving away their privacy. And I think that this is all going to stem down into this climate change, carbon credit score, social credit system that they're trying to enforce on the world. I'll just move into the next slides because I do have some on it.
I guess the other question I have as well is, if once you get 1 billion people sign up, where's the $75 billion coming from? If they're giving them their own token, that price probably crashes, and then people end up with a token that's now worth $1 instead of $75, and they've given away that personal information forever. But a lot of this stuff's probably been happening in China already, where they're, even without your permission, the technology's so good, and cameras on every corner, they're scanning your face, if not your eye, already. So it's, when did people agree that this was okay, and when did people vote for this to happen? And that's, I think, was the pushback we need to be spreading.
So my understanding is, in his white paper, he's pretty much saying that AI is going to take all of the jobs, and we're going to need a universal basic income. So what's going to happen is AI is going to take your job, but we're going to collect the money that AI makes and airdrop that to you through WorldCoin. So that's his vision that he's got on this whole WorldCoin thing, saying that, pretty much AI is going to take the jobs out of society. People are going to be left jobless, but we're going to give you a universal basic income on the AI that will work for you. And it just goes back to that narrative that you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. We'll have the AI doing it all for you.
Yeah, probably not a world I want to live in, but yeah.
No, me neither. But we've got the French and the Germans coming out, who are normally all for this World Economic Forum stuff, looking for an investigation. So we'll see where it moves on from here. But yeah, I just want to say, like, this Sam Altman guy, he's deeply involved in the Democratic Party. He's another one of these guys who donates a lot of money to the Biden administration. He sits on the World Economic Forum AI. I think he's the head of it, the head of the AI. So he's all for this LGBTQ, whatever you want to call it, narrative. He's all about it. He's also another one who wants to get the US military to pay for transgender surgeries. So ChatGPT is biased. I don't know if you've used it before, but it's not open to anything. Well, it's got its own narrative, if you want me to say that.
I think all AI to some degree has its own narrative if it's been trained on language models, and the language models are written by humans that have their own biases and whatnot as well. Particularly, you'd say that more articles in the media these days are trying to play on people's emotions and have extreme views or whatever. That's the way so the majority of content that these things are learning from are from more extreme views. So it's like hard for AI to have a balanced conversation like we're trying to have today in the middle ground. But geez, all this stuff is just such a distraction to get people riled up and emotional and angry at each other and divided, while they slowly roll out this plan of theirs for more power.
Yeah, and I know just by using ChatGPT myself that it's pro medicine, it's pro mandates, it's pro lockdowns. So I can't see him going from ChatGPT to this WorldCoin and not enforcing the same sort of views that he wants on ChatGPT, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So something to look into deeper if you're thinking about going and getting your retina scanned.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's also on this WorldCoin, this app that'll be on your phone, and they're almost saying this global ID will be soon required whether you like it or not. So they're pretty much they're saying the more people that get their retina scanned, soon so many people will have it that they're just going to make it mandatory. So this is something we've got to watch out for, because when these CBDCs do come in, and if they do ban cash, pretty much you're going to have a digitalized identity of what you can do. So say you own a Land Cruiser and you go camping for the weekend and use a tank of fuel, but that's your limit of fuel for the week. You might not be able to leave your house again for the next week. Like this is the way that they want to push this. And say you want to eat steak every night, but your methane consumption is over the limit of what they require, they might ban you from buying meat at the supermarket. It'll also cancel out like your average garage sale on the weekend, or selling something on Marketplace, or everything's going to be recorded and tracked. And I don't think this is a good thing for society, but maybe this is just the way we're going with technology, and this is just inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be really interested again to hear people's views in the comments on all this stuff, but I'm not sure how many people, because it feels like not many people are aware or care about this stuff, but I'd say in the last couple of years we're almost getting to the point of critical mass where I'd say more people actually are aware of this stuff than not now, and more people do care about this stuff than not. And so whether or not we're going to see that in elections of political leaders, of people that are calling out all the BS are starting to get elected, but it feels like there's a sea change coming, but maybe I'm being a little bit hopeful.
Well, I've got some stuff on that moving forward, so I'll keep flicking through these slides. Just on that, Australia's looking to introduce Australia-wide digital IDs as well. They're trying to push this through. There's a lot of pushback on this in Australia as well, but this is pretty much the same thing as WorldCoin, but just in Australia. It's the same thing as China are doing. You'll pretty much have everything online. This will bring in the cash ban, and yeah, you'll have your own digital ID of what your social credit score is in Australia and what you can and can't do. So I'd just be really careful on signing up for these things, as they make them look really good and like they're really helpful, but these things can also be your worst enemy in a tough time. So I just want to
think twice before you get that microchip in your hand.
Exactly. This is what happens in China when you sign up to these sort of things. So if you jaywalk in China now, they have facial recognition, they have CBDCs, digital identities. They've got you up on billboards for jaywalking. So yeah, public humiliation could also be coming.
Yeah.
We do have people standing up though. Ron DeSantis, I love this guy. He's running for next president in the US. He's got a lot of great points. I pretty much don't have any disagreements with anything he says. But yeah, he vows to ban these CBDCs. He can see the issue with these. And so yeah, we need people like him standing up and not just being controlled by these big corporations and taking money. This guy, he doesn't take money from these corporations, so he's sort of standing alone. So yeah, we'll see if he can make it in.
I think it's going to be the most interesting election now with everything happening around Trump. I feel like the media's turned on Biden after years of covering up, and no one can say a bad word about him. Then you've got DeSantis, then you've got RFK Jr., who's going out and making a lot of noise, or people like some of his views as well. So I think this is going to be the most interesting election.
Me too. And I love RFK too. I've got a slide coming up on him. We've got another US Congressman, Warren Davidson, urges for a ban on central bank digital currencies as well. So there is people standing up.
Yeah.
But in saying that, the Federal Reserve in San Francisco have hired a crypto architect to promote their CBDC project. So this is all happening, whether we like it or not. We've just got to, it depends on what side of this you're on, I guess. You've got to back who you think's making the decision. Yeah, so it's all moving. It was a myth a year ago. I remember talking about it. People were calling me crazy. And now it's all coming out. So
yeah, it's still a lot of people talking about XRP and quantum financial system as well. At the same time as these CBDs are really accelerating, so both interesting things to keep an eye on.
Definitely. In saying all that, we've got Klaus Schwab. So this is the guy who leads this World Economic Forum. She's come out and said permanent climate lockdowns are coming, whether you like it or not. The things these guys say, they really make me sick. Some of these things she says in this article are just insane. So let's just read through this. According to Nicole Schwab, the COVID pandemic was a tremendous opportunity to test how the public would comply with the World Economic Forum's plans to usher in their Great Reset agenda. These are words from her mouth, not mine. So you can see where this is all leading. They're promoting this climate emergency. They're saying that this is going to be the next leader of lockdowns, which goes back to this. If you have a CBDC and you've gone over your limit, you may be locked in your house and not allowed to drive your car or fly on a plane. Why these guys own super yachts that burn hundreds of thousands of litres of fuel in a day and fly on their private jets, and they're going to penalise you for eating a steak on the weekend or having a barbecue in your backyard. So it's just another thing to be aware of, that this is the narrative that's getting pushed at the moment, and you don't see it in mainstream media. You can only find it if you look for it. But this is their next new narrative.
The thing that I'm most interested to see is when and if this comes, climate lockdowns, or we've got into UFOs and whether we have a UFO lockdown or whatever. I think so many people have woken up to, hold on, a lot of what we just went through the last few years was BS. So how easily it can be pushed on people now, with people like this are celebrating how easy it was to control the public. I think they're in for a bit of a shock, and like you already see the protests around the world in a lot of these countries over little things at the moment. So I think they're in for a rude shock next time they try to tell people they're not allowed to leave their house, not allowed to eat this or whatnot.
I totally agree with you, and just people I speak to on the street are the same impression. Yeah, I don't hear many people saying that they'd voluntarily go back into a lockdown again. So,
yeah,
we'll see how they can push this. But this is pretty much what they're pushing. So this is from the World Economic Forum website. My Carbon, an approach to an inclusive and sustainable cities. So they want to push these 15-minute cities. It'll be tied to digital identity, and you'll pretty much have an app on your phone that'll so everything you buy will be tied to your CBDC. So whatever currency you have in your country, you'll have this app on your phone of the fuel you buy, the meat you buy, the travel you do, and you'll have your total emissions, and you'll have an emission rating. And pretty much if you exceed that rating, and this is the thing, like if these retina scans go down, you won't be able to gel together as a presence. It just won't matter. You just won't be allowed in. That's the thing, or you won't be allowed out. Like you will have to get your retina scan to enter the shop. Otherwise, you'll be locked out of it. This is just another thing that they're trying to enforce that I don't think is right at all.
And I believe there's a little island off Australia somewhere that is or has been already trialing like a carbon credit based thing for a couple of years now. If people want to have a Google about that as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I haven't heard about that. I'll have a look into that. But So the next one, this was just a video of at Europol, pretty much explaining the agenda and what it would mean for the average civilian. I wanted to play this video, but we haven't been able to get it up. But if anyone wants to go in and have a look at this video, it's pretty alarming stuff, and I think everybody needs to see it. It even goes down to like going camping and using your local creek or waterway to go for a swim. Like there's going to be regulations on that too. They pretty much want to control all federal resources, creeks, rivers, dams, rainforests, and put restrictions on who can and can't go to these places and use them. So it's pretty alarming stuff. And I was hoping we could show that.
We will link to all those down below in the description, guys, all these video clips. So that's fine. Yeah.
Alrighty. Then there's a few people who know about this climate stuff that I've been digging deep into. So I wanted to show these videos as well. But this was one with Donald Trump that he did with some of these climate guys. And he's pretty much said that they were saying you don't understand the science. Trumpy's come out and said he understands how all this works, and he thinks the world's actually getting colder. And he pretty much put his reputation on the line in this video saying, you just watch, this is happening. And then in another one on the Rogan podcast with these guys that I followed, Jimmy Corsetti, another great guys who do a lot of stuff in ancient Egypt, Younger Dryas Impact Hypothesis, stuff like that. They did a little interview with Elon Musk, who talks about ice ages and pole shifts and stuff, and that we are not in a global warming event. We're actually technically still in an ice age, and that these pole shifts happen over time. And there was a catastrophic event at the end of the last ice age that pretty much caused this ice to melt, which Elon Musk goes through a bit of it in there. So I wish we could have showed this one too, but he's pretty much talking about like a global scale cataclysm, an asteroid impact that ended the last ice age. And there's a lot of evidence about it. And he said that these things sort of cycle through time.
If you haven't watched Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse yet on Netflix, it's amazing. So that covers a lot of that stuff as well.
It really does. It's an awesome series. One of the best I've seen. Antarctica plunges to its coldest temperature since 2017. So just another little insight into, the Earth is not boiling. I feel like we're going through the coldest winter I've been through here. And so there's evidence out here.
As you said before, it's just frustrating not to know like where the truth lies, because the views on these are so extreme. And like I read an article the other day saying that coral reefs never has the healthiest it's been in years or decades, but yet you still hear on the radio how it's all dying and we need more protection and it's an emergency. It's like, well, hold on, which one is it? Why is the mainstream saying that it's dying, and then you can read research reports saying it's the healthiest it's been in decade and corals are bouncing back? So it's just, I understand why people are confused and divided.
Yeah, it seems like everything I see on the media, when I go and try and research it, I can't find it. And then all that pops up is these actual facts on people who are doing independent research and actually going out into the field and finding these statistics. And then the media is just making up blatant lies, if you ask me, about whatever narrative they're trying to push. So, I'll keep sharing these facts that I can find, and just, you decide which side of the fence you want to sit on at the end of the day, I guess. So another guy's been cancelled, John Clauser. He's a Nobel, well, he's a physics guy. He's toned in, pretty famous guy, toned in on this climate emergency thing, saying that he thinks it's all a big hoax. There is no issue with it. And now he's been silenced. He's been doing a lot of great work too. So I thought I'd just push that into there also.
Yeah.
And then this was another video that I wanted to watch, which we can't, but this John Kerry guy, he's another one of these media millionaires, part of the World Economic Forum, pushing this climate change narrative. Pretty much he's saying that the world is boiling in this video here, and that we're losing about 10 million people a year due to extreme heat. I'm yet to, I think Australia is one of the hottest countries in the world. I actually do a lot of work in some of the hottest places, and I haven't seen anyone boiled to death yet. So just another one to have a look into.
Yeah.
This is that same guy that I was just talking about. He's been over in China trying to get China on this narrative as well. There's been strong pushback from China in this article. They've pretty much said that, where was it here? So they want them on this carbon neutral path by 2060. China's pretty much come back and said that this will be determined by ourselves and we won't be influenced by others. So whether they know more than we do, who knows? But this guy's been over there pushing his narrative, and there's been strong pushback by China. And it just goes back into this thing that I think is, we used all this carbon and all this industry to pretty much prop up our countries. And, you can't come out once you've achieved greatness and tell all these third world countries that they can't do the same and, level up their technology. So I think this is where the China pushback's coming. They're sort of saying, well, you've gone and done all this. So, we're going to do it too. Like this.
Yeah, I agree. You can't tell other countries they can't do it, but particularly while you're trying to exploit them for all of their resources and that as well, to keep your advanced economy going. Oh, we're going to need all these for solar cars or whatever, semiconductors, but you guys aren't allowed to go through your own industrial revolution at the same accelerated pace that we did, thanks to fossil fuels. It's impossible conversation to have.
Yeah, and look, like I think there is a lot of bad pollution going on in the world at the moment, and like I fully think we could tone it all down a bit, but I don't think it's coming from the narrative that they're pushing. I mean, like I'd rather try and clean up plastic going into oceans, or like we're not the ones tipping chemicals into the streams and stuff. Like if I go camping, I'm relatively clean, and we take all our rubbish and we don't throw stuff into the waterways, whereas these big corporations are dumping in the US especially. Like, they've destroyed rivers, and they've turned rivers green and bright blue and done all sorts of crazy stuff, and then we're the ones that get punished for it, or other countries are getting punished for it, and they've actually done the damage themselves. So
yeah, I mean, if we really wanted to, things like nuclear, or even as we get into this UFO stuff, like, what's the suppressed technologies that they have that could give everyone free energy, or far more efficient than we have? Yeah, for sure. I think we all want to move to a sustainable, renewable planet, because fossil fuels are just finite in nature. So at some point you have to change. But yeah, the way they're trying to control it and push this narrative just doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't. All right, I'll move on to the next one here. What was this one? Yeah, so this UN Security Council president, Kishori, he reckons the American century is now over, and that these Chinese economies are going to dominate the next century. And pretty alarming article, but they're pretty much poised in position to take over now. So especially if the US keeps letting all this innovation go to them. And I know that, we give most of our resources in Australia to China, and they've been stockpiling them for years. I can't see them not taking over sooner or later, unless, we really make some changes and start looking at the what's really important to our countries, and not running these silly narratives and
I think
well.
the other concerning thing is them being our largest trade partner is the amount that America is saying jump and we say how high, whether it's military stuff or the AUKUS, Five Eyes initiative, whatever it is. It's just like we're in their back pocket. I think that's going to annoy China more and more. We saw a lot of tariffs in the past few years, so that'd be the ultimate downfall if they just say, nah, we're going to stop trading with you altogether because we don't like your political views, and we're just doing it to keep the US happy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'll move on to this next one. Oh yeah, JFK announces his bold plan to back the dollar with Bitcoin and end Bitcoin taxes. So yeah, this is another guy that I love. I've listened to a few podcasts with him recently on Lex Fridman and Joe Rogan, and he has some great points. And he has a lot of information. He's also a lawyer, so he can speak really well. But he has a lot of information on early vaccines and stuff that I didn't know about myself. I recommend everyone go through and listen to these podcasts with him, because he actually looks like he's one of the few that is actually looking out for the people. But if he did get in and do this would be an insanely good thing for Bitcoin, even gold and silver and the US dollar. He's saying he only wants to do 1% of issued T-bills at the moment, but that could move higher and higher. And I think this is a great thing. And this is sort of why Bitcoin was created.
Yeah. And I'd say, even if you don't agree with his views, he's presenting the other side of the information with the other side of the argument with what he believes is factual information that no one else is discussing. So it's for your own education, or to strengthen your own views, or say, hey, no, I don't agree, but at least you're informed on the other side of the argument. That's why I like these type of guys.
Yeah, me too. He does make a lot of good points. So yeah, I recommend anyone to check those podcasts out. I thought I'd just chuck this one in here. This is something that I've been doing. I was actually one of the people who did have a bad reaction to the vaccine. So I was forced to take it from a previous business that I had that was in mining. I actually got myocarditis from the vaccine, and they still wouldn't give me an exemption. So this nanokinase, I've been seeing a bit of this pop up lately. Apparently this can clear the spike protein out of your body. So I've been giving this a bit of a trial, and I just wanted to chuck this up for anyone else who might be in my situation as well. It's definitely worth giving it a shot. Have you heard about this, Nugs?
I've heard a few different natural things floating around. I didn't luckily I didn't ever get the jab and whatever. Like I think most people know I left pharmacy because of the corruption and whatever 6 or 7 years ago. So when this all came out straight away, when they were saying that, yeah, we probably can't even speak it on YouTube without risking getting the video ban. But I think people know where I'm going with that. So yeah, I'm aware that a lot of people didn't want to have it and got forced to, and they've had side effects. So if there's something that's natural out there or worth a try that doesn't have any side effects itself, then I'm all for it, because I know so many people are still struggling.
Yeah. 1,000-year-old supplement that's been used by the Japanese. So yeah, something to look into if you're having problems. The other thing I wanted to touch on was this new Sound of Freedom movie. I don't know if you've heard about it. I haven't actually seen this movie, but I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter about it lately. So this guy who acted in it and pretty much created the movie, he's come out now and said that the CIA operates the world's biggest pedophile ring. I don't know if there's any truth in this. I keep saying,
I have seen the trailer, and I mean, 5 or 10 years ago, this stuff was like deep conspiracy. But then once you've got Epstein come out, some of the royals and what's been going on there, like I read the other day there was a billionaire that paid Epstein $150 million and said it was financial advice. So like, it blows my mind that these things are possible. And how sick some people are there in the real world. But I mean, nothing surprises me these days. So hey, we have to see what happens and see if it does turn out to be true. But yeah, the movie about this stuff has really upset a lot of people.
Yeah. So the more I started looking into it, they've actually been trying to censor this movie in the US. I'll just move on to this next one. So they've fought, like, there's all these claims that halfway through the movie, they shut down the cinema, or they left the lights on in the cinema, put bad smells through the cinema. All of these things to try and stop people from watching this movie. So I don't know, maybe there is some involvement there and some people who really want this thing to be censored. It's almost like the conspiracy theories that you heard about 5 years ago are all starting to come true now. And it's just crazy that these things can actually still be going on and just not widely talked about. Like I said, I haven't seen the movie, but I keep seeing this pop up on Twitter. So I just wanted to just show everyone what they're actually doing in the theatres. I might actually download it this week and watch it and just see what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just throw that up there. And then, let's move on to this UFO thing. So I can't believe this isn't bigger news. I haven't seen it on much Australian mainstream media. I've seen a couple of clips about it, but there's been some pretty big testimonies in front of Congress over the past few days. This guy here is David Grosh. This guy here is Commander Fravor. I've followed this guy for a long time. He's a high-ranking commander in the Navy. Very smart man. He's made some pretty insane testimonies to Congress over the past few days. And I just can't see how this isn't bigger news. I wanted to show these. Sorry, mate. There you go.
Oh, I was going to say, like, this is something I've followed closely and been interested in for 20 years. And again, it's gone from full conspiracy to almost annoying your friends. A bit like when you go into crypto and you're annoying your friends and they're all saying you're crazy, and then now they're all slowly getting into crypto. This is the same to me, but at the same time, we've got these people coming out in front of Congress where you've got to swear you're telling the truth and whatever, saying we've got crashed UFOs and we've recovered alien bodies, dead and alive, and we're working in conjunction with their leaders, with our leaders and stuff. And most people, like you said, are just oblivious to it, or even you tell them it and they go, oh, okay. Whereas you think people go, this is the biggest news in the history of humanity. So that's the stuff that blows my mind. The other thing is, well, why, after covering it up for hundreds or thousands of years, why are they now pushing it? And is it going to be the next thing to create a bit of fear and lockdowns, or, the UFOs have brought a bug, so line up for your next vaccine, your alien vaccine, or like the mind boggles where this is all going, really.
Yeah. See, I want to believe in this stuff, so I look into it a lot, but then I still can't get away from, is this a psyop or the new narrative? Is this going to be the new you can't do this, or you're going to upset the aliens, or, they're here, they've been watching us for all this time, or have they always been here and are they watching us, or, are we a product of evolution from them? There's still a lot of questions out there. And if this does come true and there actually is an extraterrestrial life on here, it pretty much changes our history and everything we know about it, and religion.
Yeah. Which I think are the conventional arguments to why it has been covered up, because people wouldn't be able to handle it, dismantles all religions and whatnot. But here they are telling everyone, and no one seems to care anyway. So again, it's that argument of how many people are awake versus how many people are just oblivious to all this stuff, even when it's completely told to them in Congress or whatever.
So these two guys who follow this, they're probably the best in the industry, I'd say. Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. They've provided a letter to Congress. So this George Knapp fellow, he's been in Russia. He's done some pretty insane interviews with some military personnel over there and whatnot. And pretty much the Russian stance on this is they've been chasing these things for years, like ever since the 60s. And they've fired at them, and they've even had 2 pilots killed chasing these things down. So it's another big letter that's gone to Congress. So yeah, they really need to be open with the public about this. I think if it actually is a national security threat, I just want the info. I wish they'd just come out and say it. There's all these different opinions coming from all over the world, and yeah, it seems like they're still trying to keep this under wraps. So,
have you ever watched the Westall UFO incident? I think it's Australia's most famous one.
No, I don't think.
There's a school in the 60s. There was like 100 kids and a dozen teachers all saw a UFO land in a paddock next to it and stuff. Anyway, Westall UFO incident on Australia. There's lots of documentaries on YouTube. Yeah,
I am familiar with it actually. Just from listening to podcasts. Yeah, I'm familiar with that one. And then another one in Africa also that happened with some school kids, and then another one in South America where there's pretty much a whole town. There's a new documentary that's come out on it. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But,
is it Moment of Contact? I think I watched it recently.
Yeah, Moment of Contact.
Yeah, that was good as well.
Yeah. So you've got the whole town reporting sightings of this thing, and then a fair few people saying that there was actually a being running through the city at night. So something to look into anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, after these UFO hearings, crypto degens spent no time crafting 50 alien shitcoins. So just another thing with these narratives, if you're on the ball with the crypto and these narratives come out, these meme coins jump up, and you can make a lot of money if you're sitting by the computer and you're watching these things as they pop up. So you've got time and you're following these news narratives that are sort of away from the mainstream. There's money to be made, but it's high risk, and I don't recommend everyone to be into this sort of thing. But if you've got money to gamble at the casino, this is just as good, I reckon.
Yeah, it certainly makes me laugh whenever we see a narrative come out and then these coins pop up everywhere.
New research has just come out, putting the universe at 26.7 billion years old, nearly twice as old as previously believed. So, we're finding out more and more about our history as time goes on, which is good because there is an from archaeologists, there is a narrative that they want to keep under wraps. So it's good to see these other guys coming out and finding new evidence. So I thought I'd just throw that up as well.
Yeah, I think that the thing my first thought was, well, hold on, when we get a new deep space telescope that's twice as good, does that now put it at 50 billion years? And it's, is it only as far as you can see? And some of the stuff going on at the moment with quantum gravity and whatever, and are we in a simulation? A lot of the science is now pointing towards that things don't. Until something is observed, the particle doesn't take on its form and things like that. And it all points towards like we've been in a simulation, and like in a computer game, things don't get rendered until you go and visit them or interact with them. So it is wild to think about where this science is going to take us.
Yeah, I had a good read through this article, and they actually think the galaxies that they're observing are a lot smaller than what they thought as well, which I don't know what that means, but they are concerned about it in some ways. So it's something I need to look into more. But yeah, apparently there's some really small galaxies out there that they didn't know about. So yeah. And then the next, well, I'll finish on this one, which is a pretty cool one. I think Australia's approved psilocybin and MDMA for therapeutic use, which is a great thing. I think that the world's finally coming to terms with this stuff. Like I know this has been used in ancient medicine since pretty much the start of time. I've got some good friends who have used these therapies and cured severe depression and stuff where they were on antidepressants for a long time, but probably actually made them worse and had to go overseas to actually do these therapies. So this is a big step forward for Australia, and yeah, I'm all for this stuff. Anything natural, or anything just to help this mental depression crisis we seem to be going through. Yeah, so this is a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Australia first in the world, I think, as well, to actually approve it all. Now, it's got to be with a psychiatrist and trip sitter, I believe. But some of these results, like 70% cure rates with 1 or 2 sessions, are just amazing. We've got to remember there's countries around the world where this stuff is still legal in Europe and whatnot. And it's just, because it's been around for thousands of years, we know how safe it is. So it's almost mind-boggling it all got banned in the first place. But yeah, certainly substances that, well, psilocybin at least, I've used to help get over the last of my addiction to opiates and whatnot when I was crook a couple of years ago. And I know plenty of people as well that have done them for the depression or anxiety, or just to get reset from their stresses of, everyday life in the concrete jungle and whatnot. So yeah, it's amazing to see if this is the start of like when medical marijuana first got onto the scene, and next thing you know, it's legalized and it's everywhere. So I think it'd be a great thing for the world we currently live in. Yeah.
Me too. And it stems back so far. Like these things were all banned in the 50s. The 50s is when they came along, and I know in the 60s they put a massive ban on this with the war on drugs, and pretty much told everyone how bad these things were for you. And now it's coming out to show that these can actually be very beneficial. And they promote neuroplasticity and actually create neurons in your brain, which is better for your thinking. And they date back to these Eleusinian mysteries and the Eleusis temple outside of Greece. I don't know if you've heard about the stories back then, how they used to take a potion and go down into this Eleusis temple. And these weren't just your average people. Like this was like Sophocles, Plato, Pindar. They go down there and come out with these great philosophies and ideas which pretty much shape democracy. So, yeah, it's good when you look into the history of it.
Yeah, and that series we were talking about before, Ancient Apocalypse with Graham Hancock, I'm fairly sure he said if that series was successful, he'd do another one on psychedelics in the ancient world. And the series was number 1 on Netflix when it launched after he went on Rogan. So I'm looking forward to if he makes season 2 about psychedelic use in the ancient world.
I actually did just say that he's actually doing a debate on the Rogan podcast in October with an archaeologist. So that's going to be something very cool to see. So he's got some great views as well, Graham Hancock. I really like that guy. Just wrap it up. Oh yeah, I just wanted to show some of these. So this is a 30,000-year-old cave they just found in Colombia. And yeah, so you can see they've got the mushroom depicted there in the side there. So you can just see how long these things have been around for and how long they've been used throughout civilization. And then I was just going to end on one of the, on a clown world. Always want to end on a bit of the clown world that we live in. The CDC, the one who gives us all this guidance, has now given the guidance for trans people chest-feeding kids. So they're pretty much giving the guidance for men who go and get their boobs done on how to breastfeed their new children that they obtain. So
yeah, I saw Australia, I think it was the first country in the world that was allowed a trans woman, now man, to adopt a kid, to get the hormones pumped into them, and then to try and breastfeed. I'm just thinking, like, what's the child's say in all of this? And it's just, I'm not sure. Like, my views are sort of, I guess, a bit, well, is it in touch with nature and what's natural? And to me, that just isn't at all. Everyone's free to express themselves how they feel, but once you start pumping yourselves with hormones and biological men breastfeeding adopted children, it doesn't sit well with me. Yeah.
Me neither. I just, some of these articles, I can't believe what I'm reading. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that one up just in case you're down at your local cafe and you see the guy next to you breastfeeding a kid. Please don't be alarmed, because the CDC has guidance on this now.
All right, mate. Well, that's been fantastic, guys. As I said at the start, if you want different topics covered in future, we'll keep tinkering with this, but trying to make it a long format world news style. So thanks a lot, Tom. Put links down below for those clips as well, and to follow Tom on socials. As I said at the start, he's part of our new Alpha research team for the premium research platform. But thanks, mate. Looking forward to doing this again soon.
Thanks, Nugs. Take it easy.
Cheers, guys.